So, in the previous class we have learned about the flower, the reproductive part, and now let us learn about the pollen grains here. Okay, take a slide and put a few drops of water on it. Now take any flower like hibiscus, frudax, marigold, etc. Tap the anther over the drop of water. You will see small dot-like structures floating on water. These are pollen grains. Observe these first under a hand lens, then under a compound microscope. So what he saying that he told to take a microscopic slide first. Okay. So put a few drops of water on it. Later what he did, he asked to. So he told us to take a flower and to dip it in the water. Now we can see dot-like structures on the water. Those are nothing but pollen grains. So carefully we have to take the pollen grains, and by using hand lenses we have to observe the pollen grains. Okay. You may also see a permanent slide of pollen grains from your lab. Observe it under the microscope. Make a drawing of what you observed. So, and compare with the given diagram. So, how many nuclei are present in the pollen grain? So, we can be able to see 2 nuclei present in the pollen grain. Okay. So, the given diagram shows 2 nuclei. Do you think they may have been formed from single-celled stage? The pollen grains germinate only on the stigma. So, the pollen grain used to germinate on the stigma. Okay. So, stigma in sense female reproductive part. Okay. So, when entering this pollen grain on the stigma, so it transforms into a pollen tube and also it forms a germ cell nuclei. Okay. That means here before single celled stage 2, it transforms into the 2 nuclei. Okay. So next, structure of ovule. Okay. So, this is the female reproductive part. That means the stigma, style and the ovary. Okay, ovary consists of egg cell, and ovary is distinguished into the ovule. Okay, an ovule is a egg-shaped structure attached by a stalk to the inner side of the ovary. So this ovary consists of ovule. Ovule consists of egg-like structure. Okay. Inside the ovary, depending upon the species of the plant involved, an ovary may have 1 to several or even hundreds of ovules. So depending upon the species of the plant involved, an ovary may have 1 or 2 or several or even hundreds of ovules present in the flower. Okay. At the center of each ovule there is a microscopic embryo sac filled with food and water. So at the center of the ovule it contains a egg cell. This egg cell used to store food and water. Okay. And next, so the embryo sac is composed of gametophyte cells. So here it consists of gametophytic cells. The majority of the flowering plants have an embryo sac consisting of 7 cells and 8 nuclei, 2 of which are important to our discussion. One is the large central cell containing 2 nuclei. They are called as polar nuclei. So the majority of the flowering plants have an embryo sac consisting of 7 cells and 8 nuclei, 2 of which are important to our discussion. One is a large central cell containing nucleus. Okay. So it will contain, these cells will contain 2 nuclei, and those of one is the central cell containing nuclei. Those are called as polar nuclei. Okay. The other cell is the egg. It is located at the end of the embryo sac. Okay. In the embryo sac, we can be able to see the opening to enter the pollen tubes. Okay, in the embryo sac, that means here through this point. So these are called as integuments. Okay, they will be open to enter the pollen grain. Okay, sometimes these pollen grain will also enter through these integuments. Okay. Cells on the surface of the stigma secretes a sticky nutrient fluid contains sugars and other substances. They will help the pollen grains to germinate. Okay, here in the stigma, it secretes some sugar-like nutrients. These nutrients will help the pollen grains to germinate. That is, as I told before that pollen grains contain 2 nuclei. So one is here it is in the single celled stage. Okay, after entering into the ovule or ovary, the female reproductive part, it transforms into pollen tube, and also it contains germ cells. That means this will help in the pollination. Pollination or fertilization or reproduction, all terms will give the same meaning. Okay. So then it forms the pollen tube. Okay. When this pollen grain starts germinating, it converts into the pollen tube. Okay. Then it forms pollen tube. It bears 2 nuclei. Soon after, the tip of the pollen tube enters the embryo sac. So here, the tip of the pollen tube enters through the embryo sac, either downwards or to upward. Okay. Soon after the tip of the pollen tube enters the embryo sac, the end of the tube ruptures and releases the 2 male nuclei into the embryo sac. So after that, it ruptures and it releases. So these pollen tube form zygote. So one of the two male nuclei fuse to the egg cell to form zygote. So here it transforms into the zygote. Okay. By the time the egg cell has been fertilized, the two polar nuclei combine to form a single fusion nucleus. Now the second nucleus deposited into the embryo sac by the pollen tube moves to the center and unites with the fusion of the nucleus. So if the second nucleus used to deposited on the embryo sac by the pollen tube moves towards the center and unites with the fusion nucleus. So next another nucleus used to fusion with the nucleus. Okay, the zygote will develop into an embryonic plant within the ovule. Now the zygote used to develop into the embryonic plant with the help of the ovule. Okay, union or fusion of the nucleus with the secondary nucleus stimulates the formation of a new tissue called as endosperm. Okay, union or fusion of nucleus. So that means the pollen grain used to fuse with the secondary nucleus present in the embryo sac will transforms into a new tissue called as endosperm. Okay, in which food materials are stored as development of the ovule proceeds. So this will store the food materials and develop the ovule proceeds. Okay, next one. Union of one male nucleus with the egg and the second male nucleus with the fusion of the nucleus is called double fertilization. Okay, union of the male nucleus with the egg cell and the other nuclei with the secondary nucleus is called as double fertilization. As far as we know, double fertilization occurs only in flowering plants. So double fertilization can be seen in the flowering plants. Okay, after double fertilization, the ovule increases in size rapidly as a result of the formation of endosperm tissues by mitosis and the development of the new embryo. So after double fertilization, the ovule increases rapidly. Okay, as a result of the formation of endosperm tissue by mitosis and the development of the new embryo. So after that, what happens? It consists of, it develops into the new embryo. The embryo consists of one or more cotyledons, an epicotyle and a hypocotyle. This embryo consists of two cotyledons. One is epicotyle and second one is hypocotyle. Okay, both the epicotyle and hypocotyle are the parts of a rod-like axis attached to the cotyledons. So epicotyle and hypocotyle are the parts of a rod-like axis attached to the cotyledons. Okay, these can be seen in the rod-like axis present on the seed. Okay, that means cotyledons. The cotyledons digest and absorb the endosperm and make the stored food available for the growth of the epicotyle and hypocotyle. Okay, the cotyledons digest and absorb the endosperm. Okay, as we told that the secondary nucleus will form a new tissue with the fusion of the second male nucleus. Okay, that can be digested and absorbed by the cotyledons and make the stored food available. So this will make the epicotyle and hypocotyle to starts growing. Okay, the cotyledons of the same flowering plants, beans for example, digest, absorb and store the food from the endosperm as the ovule is maturing into a seed. Okay, the cotyledons of the some flowering plants like beans, they will absorb the endosperm and they will make the they will support the maturing seed in ovule. Okay, that means the ovule is maturing. That means in the flowering stage too, it is transforming into the formation of a seed. Okay, as a consequence, the cotyledons become greatly enlarged because of stored food, and the endosperm disappear more or less completely. When the cotyledons starts enlarging, the endosperm disappears more or less completely. Okay, that means they will absorb and digest the new tissue known as endosperm completely, or it may remain very less in number. Okay, many other flowering plants such as corn or castor bean, the endosperm tissue continues to grow as the ovule matures into a seed. Okay, when we compare it to the corn or castor bean, we can see that endosperm tissue continues its growth until the ovule is transformed into the seed. Okay, after fertilization, the zygote divides several times to form an embryo within the ovule. So after fertilization, the zygote used to develops into several times to form a zygote. Okay, within the ovule. So in the ovule, this embryo will convert into the zygote. Okay. The ovule develops a tough coat and is generally converted into a seed. Okay. The ovule develops a tough coat and is generally converted into a seed. Okay. The ovary grows rapidly and ripens to form the fruit. Okay. Next, this ovary grows rapidly and ripens to form the fruit. Okay. Meanwhile, the other floral parts may shrivel and fall off. So, meanwhile, the parts like the petals and sepals will fall off from the fruit. Okay. Which floral parts may be seen in a flowers. Okay. So, we can be generally seen that sepals and petals are the floral parts which we can see in the fruit, and those will fall off after the complete formation of a fruit. Okay. The seed produced after fertilization contains the future plant or embryo that develops into a seedling under appropriate conditions. The process is called germination. Later, the seed after fertilization, it can be transformed into the process called as germination. Okay. Next, about seed germination. Okay, for the seed germination, we have already learned in the earlier classes that we have to soak the seeds in water. Okay, so what we have to do? We have to soak the grains for overnight and let them. We have to drain all the water and we have to put it in a wet cloth. So after leaving those grains for a day, so what happens? It starts germinating. That means a little of roots are coming out of the plant. Okay, so those are not the roots and those are not the leaves, but they will be seen as like a leaves and the roots. Okay, they are not the true roots and true leaves. Okay. How cotyledons are helpful for the plants? Okay, cotyledons play an important part in the seed for the storage of nutrients. Okay, next they are the part of the embryo within seed and store nutrients. Okay, they are the first leaves produced by the plants but are not true leaves, and they feed plant till true leaves develop and begin photosynthesis. Okay, these cotyledons used to supply the food materials until the formation of the new true leaves, and those true leaves will conduct the photosynthesis. Okay, so observe the cycle of a plant as a whole in the following diagram. Okay, first a seed. So what we did, we have soaked it in the whole night on a water. Next day we have put it on the dry cloth so we can be able to see the germination. And next we can see the seedlings. Okay, these seedlings for a period of time, these cotyledons will fall off from the plant, and the plant grows through a shoot system and through the root system. Okay, after the formation of the shoot system, it produces the flowers, and these flowers undergo pollination and they will produce the zygote, and that zygote right from the embryo and simply forms the simple fruit, and the fruit contains seeds, and the cycle begins again and again. Okay. Do you know? In sexual reproducing organisms, usually single fertilization gives rise to zygote. In plants, there occurs a second fertilization giving rise to a nutritive tissue that provides nutrition to the baby plant, which develops from the zygote. The pollen grain has two cells. In one of it's called the tube cell, and there are two nuclei. They travel down through the stigma and style of the ovary of the nuclei, fertilizes the egg to form zygote, and the other nuclei fertilizes fusion with nucleus to form an endosperm, which provides food to the baby plant. This is called double fertilization. Okay. So in sexual reproduction, usually single fertilization is taken place to form the zygote. Okay, but in the plants, it undergoes double fertilization. That means the pollen grain contains two nuclei. One nuclei enters into the embryo sac, and the other nuclei enters into the secondary nuclei present in the embryo sac, and it undergoes double fertilization there, and they produce a new tissue called as endosperm. This endosperm will provide food to the baby plant, and such process is known as double fertilization. Okay.